Hello, Graphic Communication. Mr. Young here, just looking at a City in the Sky sketch. You can see a couple of examples here. The second one you're going to see in a second is the one I'm basing mine on. This is by Juan Sevilla. You can find it on ArtStation, or if you Google City in the Sky sketch, you shall find it. Basically starting again with the two vanishing points, the horizon line. And I just start off by drawing a kind of basic cuboid. Just a big rectangle that I'm going to base my little town or city on. I say a city, but there's only like a few buildings in it, so it'll still serve the purpose of being able to kind of show some of your kind of graphic skills, especially in 2-point perspective. This just makes it a little bit more interesting than doing a kind of normal 2-point city or something. And what I'm doing now is I'm just bringing my next lines down just to create another kind of level to this, just slightly in from the last one, and again I'll add a third tier down, so it looks like, well, an upside down cake maybe with the 3 tiers in it, if you want to think of it that way. And there's no sizes given here, it's just whatever you think. I'll end up, as I straighten my page there, I'll end up tidying this up a wee bit and making it look more of a big concrete kind of slab in a wee while. So once that's done, it's just basic 2-point perspective buildings. So looking at your rectangles, this one's going to be a skyscraper. I'm going to add in other buildings here for just wee houses, etc. So nothing that you haven't seen already, and really haven't added in windows and doors, etc. for this. So yeah, like I say, for the size of the area that you've got to work on, you've got sort of some small buildings to put on there. So this will look, once it's done here, this will look quite nice. And again, it's up to you whether you keep your buildings rectangular or square, or if you have them sloping or whatever. Again, you can look at the original kind of inspiration for this on ArtStation. So again, just adding these in. So I'm just going to just take a wee minute here. I'm just recording this after sketching this because it's easier than doing it live at the same time as you're sketching. I obviously can't multitask, I can only do one thing at a time. So I'll continue this and just finish off these buildings here first. So there you can see, just try to add in like a little aircon unit or some sort of air conditioning unit there. I think I quite have taken that at the wrong, not taken it at the wrong angle. I think you can't really see it too well, the way it's kind of positioned on the side of that building. I should have chosen another building, maybe the one at the foreground there, just to see that a bit easier. But you kind of get the idea. I could have shaded that in a wee bit better. So what I'm doing next is looking to try and block out this. So this is just me just doing wibbly wobbly lines just down there and just kind of going around the outline and make it a bit more kind of as if it's a big slab of concrete or something floating in the sky, which I could have put like rockets or thrusters in the bottom to kind of show how that would work. So again, just going round, and I'm just trying to, I kind of changed my mind a wee bit here just to try and dig it in a wee bit. It'd be good. I could have actually, what I should have done is shown this structure more crumbling, where bits of the concrete's kind of fallen off, or the stone's fallen off. But there you are. So kind of sketching that through, taking away some of the lines, just so it's all one big block generally. And you can see I'm not really being too fussy about how it's looking there, because it's maybe kind of rustic or kind of rough looking anyway, kind of rough stone. So you got that one. Now I've got some power cables going in there as well, because we need power to the town, or the wee. It's less of a city more than a wee kind of village, isn't it really? And again, just changing my mind, just making that it's as if that corner's fallen off. Next, what I'm looking to do here is, obviously there needs to be some sort of sanitation. And the idea for this was obviously just putting in a waste pipe. Now, again, this is a bit more complex because you're trying to create your circle by doing your cross and then your vertical and horizontal line there as well, and then creating your circle within that. But then the way I'm going to do this is that I'm taking that from the corner of the square that I made first of all. So that could be like a pipe coming out. And again, not using a ruler, because why? I've made my life much harder there, haven't I? And then I've drawn down and done another kind of rectangle shape here and blocked that in. Not quite right actually, because it looks as if it's a wee bit squished, but I'll still get there in the end. And what I'm going to do is like a pipe that's coming out and down. Again, if you're doing this sketch and you're looking at this going, oh, I can't do that, and then just leave it out, just make a hole or something, would be fine. I was just trying to stretch my own kind of skills here, and you can see I'll get there eventually. I'll need to tidy it up a wee bit. The kind of circle was a wee bit squished, so I'll need to tidy that up, but it works out and you get the idea. Sometimes with these sketches it's just the idea that you're looking and try and convey, and people can understand what you mean. In some cases, especially with design sketching as well, you're not asked to be like a world-class artist or sketch artist, but it's good to kind of test your own skills. And there you are, kind of adding that wee bit at the bottom there. You got a pipe, and I think what I decided to do then is this is where all your kind of waste is going to come out. So I kind of sketched in what is going to be like waste coming down there into onto the ground far below. I rubbed that out again. It just looked a bit silly, but I should add that in. Maybe I use green and brown in that and just add that in as a bit of waste there. This will be zoomed in. This will be speeded up a wee bit, because what I've thought about here is the lines should be going behind that building. Is drawn in another one in the distance. Now, I only looked at the sketch that was done by Juan Sevilla once, and I didn't realise that he'd already sketched one in the background right in the distance, so I thought I was being smart until I looked at it just recently and noticed that he had done the same thing. So this will be speeded up in a second to show that, and then I'm kind of cheating at the next section where I'll do the bottom part of the drawing here. So there's that, that's getting blocked in now. Shouldn't take too long. It's the same process, just using a block and then sketching things in. I'm kind of making it a bit rougher there, so it's not so noticeable. I think in an earlier sketch I made like clouds that would obscure half of that as well, so that you couldn't really see it. Cheating a little bit now. What I'm doing is I've got a horizon line and vanishing points for the actual city in the sky, or the town in the sky, and then I've put in a second horizon line down below to make a sort of wee town. I'm putting in some roads there just to kind of break it up a wee bit. Sort of sketching in like a wee town to give it a wee bit of sense of scale at how sort of big this thing is up in the sky, and by drawing wee buildings down below and like wee residential streets, or showing how populated things are. I've still got a wee bit to go in one of the corners or something at the end of this video. You'll still see it's a wee bit kind of sparse, but so I don't know if that's technically a sort of artistic license going on by me there, just adding some mountains, etc., or hills, just to kind of show, that building, that city in the sky in the foreground. And you can see me putting in all the wee buildings. It's the same process, just 2-point perspective, and it's rather laborious. As you can see, there's a lot of buildings putting in. It just requires, again, level of detail. It's the same with the space station sketch. You add in a bit of detail that it really gives it really sells the sketch, or sells the drawing as well. Adding in extra bits, you can do a lot of things, and it's just wee bits of detail that really will sell it. I'll shut up now, and that should be me until the end now. I don't think there's much more to add, other than this takes chuffing ages if you're doing it manually and in real time, so I've speeded it up. That's pretty much towards the end of this sketch now. The buildings are just being put in. I've left a wee bit of space that could be filled in, added a wee bit of shading, but hopefully you enjoyed the sketch, and hopefully everyone will stay safe.